Okay, everyone, this is Doug Nesbitt. I'm the Director of Affordable Finance and Fair Lending, and it is Friday, the 24th of March, and you're tuned into the HomeFundIt Friday webinar, Opportunities for Real Estate Professionals, and this is for loan officers and real estate agents who want to learn about HomeFundIt. Thank you guys for being on the call, and I hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday and had a good week. A little bit about today's webinar while we wait for folks to get on board. Webinar runs about 35 minutes or so. We go through it in three parts. First part is about HomeFundIt, the platform itself, kind of more from a consumer angle, and how you can kind of see your buyer using it. The second part is going to be about the HomeFundIt Realtor portal, which is, if you're a real estate agent, you're going to want to have one of these. Because it's the very best place to start somebody on a HomeFundIt campaign. It co-brands the realtor and the loan officer together into the campaign immediately and instantly. If you're a loan officer, you're going to want to make sure that all your referral partners have these as well. And then we'll do a little section on the affinity opportunity, which is kind of red hot these days, and I want to make sure that I share some of that with you guys, and we'll do a wrap up, and I'll stick around for questions and answers as long as necessary. You're all currently muted. You should see a blue screen that says HomeFundIt Opportunities for Real Estate Professionals. If you don't see that, let me know. But since you're all muted, it's hard to ask questions, so be sure to use the question and answer panel. Type a question in anytime you want, and I will try to answer it on the fly if it's kind of pertinent to what I'm talking about. If not, I'll hold it till the end, and we'll cover as many questions as you guys want to throw at me at the end. So without any further ado, let's get the show on the road here. This is being recorded. I typically have the recording up probably on a Saturday sometime. We'll have it up in the system. The one that's up there now is a couple weeks old. So this will be recorded. My contact information is at the bottom of the screen here, and I'll have that at the end as well. I also, at the end, will have a little gift for you guys in the chat. You will see up here at the end some links to some goodies that you can use to get a quick start on HomeFundIt. It'll help you out, a starter kit and some quick start guides, and I'll throw those in at the very tail end. All right, let's roll. A little bit about CMG for those of you who aren't familiar with the company. And that's usually a lot of realtors on the call may not know our background. We've been around for a while, 1993, and 30 years now. Chris George is our president and CEO, recently the chairman of the Mortgage Bankers Association, large privately held lender, just acquiring now HomeBridge. That acquisition is in the process of being completed right now. And so that means we're going to be much larger. And we offer the full range of products that top lenders offer, plus some exclusive products that you can only find here at CMG, the all-in-one loan, which is the most powerful loan on the planet, I call it, and HomeFundIt, which is what we're here to talk about today. So what does HomeFundIt do? Two things. One is for your buyer, one's for you. For your buyer, it's going to help them solve the #1 issue that they have, and that typically is the down payment, and we're going to talk about that a lot today. And then the second thing we're going to talk about a real lot is how do you hold on to buyers who aren't ready to buy today? And that's long-range home buyers who you meet. They want to buy later this year, next year, whenever. Typical process is call me when you're ready, right? And a lot of times the typical outcome is you lose them to a competitor. So how do you hold on to them? Well, as it turns out, HomeFundIt is fantastic at doing that. And we're going to talk a lot about that. First-time home buyers. This is kind of the type of buyer who typically leans on others for a little bit of help to get into a home. So that's where HomeFundIt really comes in handy. When you talk to millennials, 82% of them want to buy a home. And when you look at prospective buyers today, most of them are first-time buyers. That's because the millennial generation that is moving along right now, their average age, the middle of that bell curve, is about 32, 33. Guess what? That's the average age of a first-time home buyer. So no surprise, most of the folks you're talking to today are buying their first home. However, when you look at current home buyers, that number drops down pretty dramatically. And so the actual market out there for homes being purchased, still not dominated by first-time home buyers. Why is that? Because it takes them a long time to come up with the down payment. According to the National Association of Realtors, 3 to 4 years on average to come up with that down payment. So you can influence that. You can speed that process up. You can turn people into buyers sooner, right? And that means you can turn them into customers sooner. That means you can earn more. So first-time home buyers dealing with the issues we all know. High home prices, they're still high. Rising rents, they're going higher. And student debt, we didn't have that in past real estate cycles like we do in today's real estate cycle. And when you talk to renters today, most of them will tell you that the down payment's the number one hurdle they have to come and jump over. So today when they get help jumping over that hurdle, they get a little help from good old bank of mom and dad, and that's down payment gifting largely from parents, because even under Fannie, Freddie, FHA guidelines, relatives can help with the down payment, but typically only parents are asked, and really only in about 25% of cases. Way underperforming. Why? Because of friction. And we all know this, right? It's this traditional down payment gifting process is stuck in the 1970s or something. Paper checks, gift letters, it's all very inconvenient. Nobody knows who can participate. Cousins can't participate. Buyer doesn't know that. Buyer doesn't even know much about down payment gifting, period. So when they find out about it, and then they're asked to go home and get a bunch of gifts, well, that's just a hassle, right? So they just work with mom and dad. And that's why down payment gifting is completely underperforming, because of this old paper-based system. You got to chase down gift letters from grandma. It just doesn't work, right? So we took the process and we moved it online, take the friction out of the process, let people give using a debit card or credit card, no offline paperwork, just a few clicks, and they've got a down payment gift. And that means that all those relatives, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, and everybody, they can easily step in and help now, right? All you have to do is let them know that we have a platform on which those people can give. And it's all very simple. And it's done the way we do everything else in life today, which is online. And in fact, anyone can give on the HomeFundIt platform, no limit. Friends, teammates, coworkers, wedding guests, we'll talk a lot about that today. Anyone can give up to $5,000 per donor, no maximum on how much can be raised on the campaign, so you can keep going. No commissions or hidden costs. We pass 100% of what comes in to the transaction. Try doing that on Kickstarter or GoFundMe. And any loan program works except for HFA bond programs. So that means conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, all in one we've even done. And I'll show you how these all work, except for your local HFA and bond programs. It sets up very, very easily. People go through a few simple setup screens, and presto, they've got a page on the web where people can come in and help them with their down payment. They can customize the photo and the title of their campaign. There's a neat little story that's a default story. They can modify that if they want after they get set up. Loan officer and real estate agent are both featured on the campaign page. That's pretty cool. And people can donate in the upper right-hand corner. Just press the blue button, and in seconds, you can help with the down payment. There's a second way to add funds to a campaign. It's called UpIt. I'll talk about that in a second. And in the bottom right, you can see where all the gifts are coming in. We match those gifts coming in 2 to 1. 2 to 1 on those down payment gifts up to the lesser of $2,000 or 1% of purchase price. And most of the time, because houses cost more than $200,000, you hit the $2,000 number. Sometimes if you got a house that costs less than $200,000, that number can be $1,900 or $1,800. But generally speaking, it's $2,000. And there's only 2 requirements. These are very important. You have to be a first-time buyer, and we use the 3-year Fannie Mae rule on that. One person has to be the first-time buyer. And second requirement is very important. You have to take home buyer ed prior to signing a purchase contract. So don't try HomeFundIt after you've signed a purchase contract. The whole point of home buyer ed is learning how to buy a house right? And if you've already signed a purchase contract, it's too late. So that's what gets you the $2,000. Pretty easy. And we do a lot of these, besides this $2,000, we do a lot of these with Freddie Mac's Borrow Smart program. That's an additional $1,000 to $2,500 if the buyer makes less than 100% of the area median income. Pretty cool, right? So all they have to do is make less than 100% of the area median income, and there's basically free money there. It uses Home Possible, which is Freddie Mac's 3% down payment program, which is really great. That means they only need to come up with 3%, and they get free money towards purchase, plus $2,000 from HomeFundIt, plus gift money from their family and friends. They're done, right? That's a lot of dollars. And you can tell your buyer, hey, look, I've got up to $4,500 towards purchase, plus gift money coming in from folks that you normally wouldn't see helping in a transaction. So that helps a lot of people really make the jump to home ownership. So second way to add funds, it's called UpIt. And you do that simply by shopping, just what you're already doing. So they just click in to the campaign page, and anyone can click here. This could be the family, the friends, it could be the loan officer, the real estate agent, it doesn't matter who, anybody can shop with UpIt. And when you click the button on the campaign page, it opens up a world of online retailers in there. Each one of them rebates a certain percentage of what gets spent back to the down payment. So Walmart is rebating 4% back to the down payment at closing as a pledge. So it's actually a retention feature. It ranges from 1% to 50% back. The average is about 7.5%, 7.6%. All the stores you know and love are in here. And in fact, we have a nifty little Chrome extension that everybody can install on their browsers. And you'll see pop-ups for that when you get to a campaign page or the dashboard. And it encourages you to use the Chrome extension because you then don't have to go through the campaign page link there that you just saw earlier. You can go directly to homedepot.com and it automatically links that purchase to the campaign, and you never forget to help somebody with their down payment as a result. I mean, everybody's in here: Target, Walmart, Expedia, VRBO, Hilton, Old Navy, you name it. Plus, just like the gifts coming in, bonusing 2 to 1, we bonus those UpIt pledges 2 to 1 as well, towards the same $2,000 lender grant. So it's a second way to get to that $2,000 lender grant. So if you went to Walmart, spent $100, you'd get $4 towards your down payment as a pledge at closing, and then you get $8 towards your lender credit at closing. Plus, a third way to get to that $2,000 is by sharing your campaign on social. I'd say probably 1 out of every 2 campaigns is out there sharing on social. That means Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you can get $10 every time you hit the share button on each one of those platforms, per person, per platform, per day. So people can run the number up pretty fast just by sharing on Facebook. That's good for your buyer. It's good for you. It's good for us. So $10 bounty every time you do that. So think of it as a third way to get to the 2,000. Mix and match, gifting, shopping, sharing, lots of ways to get to that $2,000 lender credit. So when your buyer gets set up, they arrive very quickly after setting up at this campaign dashboard. And this is where they control their campaign. And this is very important. There's a nice little to-do list here that explains the things that they need to do to have a successful campaign and keep moving. That means they can update their photo, they can change their campaign story, they can even email their family and friends, and there's some great sample emails in here. So if they don't know what to say, they can use those emails to kind of get started. They can start their home buyer ed right from here. It's 1 hour over the phone, free, Monday through Friday. Super easy. They just click the home buyer ed link at the very top of the new dashboard, and away you go. They can control everything on their campaign page. Plus, you're listed here as well. Now, there's 2 tracks with HomeFundIt. There's the Freddie Mac track, and there is the All Other Loans track. I'm going to do the All Other Loans track first. For all other loans except for Freddie Mac, it requires seasoning. You can set up your campaign page. There's no time limit on campaigns. You can set them up in college if you want, high school, doesn't matter. Run your campaign as long as you want. You may not even want to talk to your family and friends about helping with down payment until you're a little closer to buying. You might just want to shop with UpIt for a while. You can start fundraising anytime you want. Typically that process is about 4 to 12 weeks once people start actually talking to family and friends about helping, or emailing them, or maybe even sharing on social if they're really into a campaign. And it goes pretty fast once people kind of hear. Now, you want to get pre-qualified, obviously, before you get out there and start house hunting, and make sure you get your home buyer ed done before you get into contract. Now, because all of these non-Freddie Mac deals require seasoning, there's a button on the campaign dashboard where the buyer can ACH the funds they've collected into their bank account. It shuts down their fundraising ability, and now we're in seasoning. Seasoning runs how long? 2 bank statements, right? So that means you want to do this before those last 2 bank statements, and typically it's 2 bank statements. Sometimes on FHA it can be 1 bank statements depending on the AUS findings, but general rule of thumb, 2 bank statements. So rule of thumb is start early, right? Give yourself plenty of time to do the fundraising. Don't jam your client. As soon as you find out they want to be a buyer, have them set up a campaign page. No time limit, get going early. And that way you can get those funds in your bank account for seasoning. And then when you close, you're going to have the $2,000 lender credit plus any funds from UpIt. Now, if you find yourself with no time to season, buyer found out about this too late, finished fundraising too late, no time to seasoning, Can't use those funds in the transaction, but not to worry. You can leave them in the campaign page until after closing, then hit the ACH button after closing. Use the funds for repairs, paint, carpet, all those upgrades they want to do. All the many, many, many costs that come after you buy a house, you can use those down payment gifts for. You still qualify for the $2,000. So I'd say it's kind of 50-50. People are seasoning, people are not seasoning. But just so you know, that is a requirement on all deals except for Freddie Mac deals. Now with Freddie Mac deals, no seasoning is required. You can fundraise right down to the wire and go ahead and close. Your gift funds are automatically wired into closing. So you don't even have to ACH anything. You don't take control of the funds yourself. You just leave them in the campaign and we take care of everything. So Freddie Mac is really the smoothest, easiest way to go, especially if you don't have a ton of time. And it works for Freddie Mac's conventional program, plus their Home Possible program, plus their Choice Renovation program. So Freddie Mac, no seasoning. Not Freddie Mac, got to season. Program stats to date, we've done a lot of these deals, 1,500. So we think we've seen a full range of campaigns, full range of buyers, small loans, big loans, high credit, low credit, you name it. We've seen it all. Top 10 campaigns, we've seen some very, very large ones. This is getting a little dated. I've got way more $20,000 campaigns than this. The record still is about $45,000. That was the Meyer campaign. There was a video on that one, which is exciting to see that campaign. We have another one with 72 donors that just is now closing. Pretty exciting campaign too. What makes a good campaign, and I would say the sweet spot campaign, is probably 5 to 15,000, 5 to 15 donors. And this is for a good-looking, well-shared campaign, right? If you use the default photo and you don't tell anyone and you get one gift, that means you basically did what you were going to do in the traditional sense, right? Which is get one gift from mom and dad. Encourage your buyer to see the difference here, right? This is now a frictionless system where they can tap into the people who mean the most to them, right? The people who they sent graduation announcements to. By the way, all those people probably sent a little graduation gift to you. Think about when you got married. You sent out a wedding invitation to a whole bunch of people. That's the same group that's helping with the HomeFundIt campaign. When you sent out the wedding invitation, what happened? A lot of people, just about everybody sent you a wedding gift back, and a lot of people flew across the country to come to your wedding. Those are the people. Here's an example of exactly one of those campaigns. Kelly and Robbie set up a campaign in South Carolina. They had recently gotten married, wanted to buy a house right after getting married, pretty traditional, set up a nice looking campaign page. They went back to the same group of people who came to their wedding, many of whom knew of their dream to buy a home. And they said, hey, we're trying this thing called HomeFundIt. It was actually back when we called it HomeFundMe, as you can see at the top of the page here. And they said, if you're interested in joining us on this journey, we'd love it. They actually only thought their parents were going to give, and instead 13 people came and gave $11,000 right away. And I mean, their campaign was short, and they were in their house in no time. They bought bigger, stronger, sooner, because that was money they didn't have to come up with. And they ended up stronger in the process. And for you as a professional, right, you've got 13 more people who know who you are, who participated in this transaction, who know the loan officer and real estate agent now. And you're on the page, they know who you are, and now they're talking to their friends about this cool tool that the loan officer and real estate agent had at their disposal to help their friends buy a house sooner, and how they participated. So that's the network effect of these campaigns. So encourage your buyer to go out there and do what these guys did. Just talk it up with their family and friends, because amazing things happen. We see it every day on the HomeFundIt team. Most of these campaigns obviously are focused around family. The one on the right actually is that record-setting campaign. We see a lot of wedding-related campaigns. These are red-hot strategies right now. I think every weekend I'm hearing of loan officers and real estate agents going out doing wedding expos. It's the simplest pitch in the world to somebody who's about to get married, most of whom already have all the appliances and things they ever need. They don't want China anymore. The big pitch is let your wedding guests help you with your down payment instead of buy you more stuff, which you already own. So people are putting QR codes in their Save the Date announcement, QR code in their wedding announcement. The QR code leads to their campaign page, and they say, hey, look, we would rather have help with our down payment. And by the way, every dollar is worth $3 up to the first 2,000. So we'd love to help with our down payment instead. So it's a very easy pitch at a wedding expo. We've got a whole bunch of new wedding flyers that you can get from our Surefire system. Talk to the loan officers. They can get you those. We've got wedding backdrops for wedding expos. Plan early because the backdrop's in high demand these days. And it goes around the country to these wedding expos. I'll talk more about that in a second. So it's a great business building opportunity. Another big business building opportunity is the next gen buyer. This is a huge opportunity because you've got folks that you've helped buy, sell a home in the past, a client list, right? Many of whom have dependents who are approaching home buying age, right? And the typical pitch to that older client is, call me when your kids are ready to buy a house, right? And you hope they remember. But with HomeFundIt, you can instead, the pitch can go, look, we've got this great new tool that can help your kids buy a home sooner. We can start now. And the kids can start a HomeFundIt campaign, and when they're ready, collect funds. In the meantime, they can shop. And in all cases, they're going to be done sooner. The young woman at the bottom of the screen here, you see, it was a college student at Clemson. Her dad, featured in the campaign picture above, told her about it. Her dad's a realtor, actually, of one of our top loan officers. And he had heard about it through her. Came home, told his daughter about this cool thing called HomeFundIt. She said, let's just get started. She was a junior at Clemson. Not much happened on her campaign for about a year or so. And then when she graduated, she put a QR code leading to her campaign page here. And you can see the title on her campaign page: diploma, check, job, check, house pending, right? And that's her goal, to buy a house after graduation. She had 20 people give to her campaign, and she was in her house by November. And just a phenomenal way to leverage a typical gifting opportunity, graduation. She basically told her contacts, hey, look, if you want to help, for after graduation, don't send me presents. I'd rather have help with my down payment. Anything you can give is worth $3. And it helped her buy her house that much sooner. So fantastic story about how the next generation can buy a house. So how do you get this out there? We've got a cool tool called the Realtor Portal, and it's a self-contained marketing package for real estate agents to be able to help them get campaigns started for their buyers sooner. It's got great branding. It's got some great tools in it that I'll show you, and it sets up in about 3 minutes, and it's free. It's got your branding in it that you upload. It's got your picture and your contact information. It's got a big green button where your buyer can start a HomeFundIt campaign. It's got a ask a question panel. This goes back to the real estate agent's email. It's got video that explains how the program works. And it's got a showcase so that as campaigns get set up from the portal, they're featured on the portal so other people can see them. You can click right into these campaigns. Now, if you're in one of the 40 states that allow for matching or realtor fee negotiation or discounts at closing, you can do a match on your campaign page. So as your buyers are gathering funds, the realtor can pledge also a dollar for dollar match up to however much they want. They can cap it at any number. Some great reasons to do this. Obvious one is it's incentivizing your buyer to go out and raise funds. And that's the goal, is to get more people to donate, because more people get exposed to you as the realtor, more people get exposed to the loan officer, and your buyer gets more funds, obviously. So this is a good thing. But that exposure is really important because a match guarantees that you're going to show up right underneath every donation with another match. And again, it's a pledge. You don't put money in until closing, and you do it the exact same way that you're helping a buyer with closing costs today. So again, if you're in one of the states that allow this, there's 40 of them, you can do these matches, and I recommend it. There's also testimonial videos inside your portal. So if you go into the marketing section here, once you log into your portal, you'll see 7 testimonial videos in there. The cool thing about these, unlike the YouTube link or Vimeo link, they've got your branding on them. That branding from your portal gets applied to any video that you share out of this portal. All you do is you click the share button, and away it goes. And it's got a contact form that allows people to get back in touch with you. So wherever this video goes, you're going with it. There's 7 of these in there. And I tell people, share one of these on every Friday. Go right into your social media with these videos. And it's helping people understand that you have the solution to the #1 problem that they have as a buyer. You can see my branding on this sample one here. I'm just clicking the share button underneath it. And if I'm logged into Facebook, presto, I've got a share on Facebook. I'm just going to put some call to action copy here at the top. I'll show you how to get that in a second. Then you're going to hit the post button underneath there. And presto, your marketing for the weekend is done. And you've got a video in your timeline on Facebook. And then you can boost that post to all kinds of people that don't currently follow your page. And you can target them. You can target people who are looking at Zillow and using mortgage calculators. These are future buyers in your area. And you can get that solution to the #1 problem those buyers have under their noses, and they're going to call you back. Inside your portal, there is a marketing kit. And in that marketing kit, there's pages that correspond to each one of those videos. So each video has a page. And on that page is the copy that you're going to need for those posts. So you don't actually have to think up any kind of clever marketing copy or call to action copy. Just steal the stuff we've already written. There's several versions for each video. Just paste it on there and then hit your post button. So making these video posts is super easy when you use the portal. Great way to go. Easy to get one of these portals. You were probably wondering when I was going to get to this part. Realtor.HomeFundIt.com. Just go to Realtor.HomeFundIt.com. Bring your logo and your picture. In 5 minutes, it'll be all set up. All you're doing is putting in some information about your company, picking a name for your site. That's your URL. And then upload your logo, upload your picture, fill in your About Me section or copy it in from your website, and then select your loan officer from the dropdown. That's what binds them to the page. That's a required step. And then you can decide if you want to do one of those matching pledges. Again, I highly recommend it. You can cap it at whatever amount you want. And once you get a portal up and some campaigns running, you and your buyer and the loan officer will all get a weekly email update that shows exactly where you're at. Loan officers, you'll get one that shows all the portals that are running that are connected to you. And your buyer will get an update on how they're doing on their campaign. And that update is branded with both the real estate agent and the loan officer. That's why these portals are so cool, because they create these weekly emails that are co-branded. Helps you keep in touch with candidates or future loan homeowners over the long haul. And then anytime something happens on a campaign, sharing, shopping, or donating, there is an activity triggered email that goes out to all three, loan officer, real estate agent, and the buyer. So everybody knows that something just happened on the campaign. So be sure to get one of these, realtor.homefundit.com. We actually don't have corresponding portals for loan officers, but we do have a custom link if you're not working with a realtor on a deal or you're going to work with one later. We do have a custom link on the Marketing Hub in the Tools section, and that'll bind a campaign to you without going through homefundit.com. It'll just bind it right to you personally. So last thing I want to talk about here is the corporate affinity opportunity. This has become red hot these days. This is where loan officers and real estate agents say, hey, I know a company that wants to help their people become homeowners. I mean, really wants to help them become homeowners, and so much so that they want to put some skin in the game and help. How can they do that? Well, we've got a page that company can set up where their employees, and by the way, it doesn't have to be a company, it can be any organization. So we're looking at sometimes builders, we're looking at unions, other associations, groups. Any group basically can offer this to their people as a benefit. And this is an easy place for them to say, hey, here, you start a HomeFundIt campaign and we'll match into that campaign as the organization. And CMG or its joint venture partners will match into the campaign as the lender. And the real estate agent who also helped set this up here, they might want to match in as well. So all kinds of folks can help those employees. And this gives a branded platform for that organization to help. It's got built-in collateral, links very, very easily to an HR website. And what you're looking at here is several different ones. Graceland University in the upper right-hand corner there, Southern Iowa. It's actually where Caitlyn Jenner went to college. They use it for their new employees. Busboys and Poets, a restaurant chain in the Northeast, they use it for their employees. Hammer Enterprises, Hero Fund. They have 20,000 employees throughout the Midwest and Northeast. Wendy's, Panera, Noodles and Company restaurants. I think they have 24 campaigns running right now. But it's just a great way for a company to help with their employees' home ownership needs. And really important, the company has to put some skin in the game. A company match is required. How much? It's up to them, but it's got to be something. And obviously it's got to be something somewhat meaningful and not embarrassingly low, right? So 500, 1,000, 2,500, those are numbers we see typically all the time towards the down payment. It's done at closing, so the company's not putting in any dollars until the employee actually buys a house, and we can, again, verify that they're still an employee. Again, if you've got one of these deals where you know a company and you want to sit down and talk to them, the pitch is exactly the consumer pitch. It is explaining to the company how it works for their people, and then how we have a page that they can set up. Once the company says, hey, this sounds great, then we'll do a meeting. I'll join you in a meeting and can walk them through a portal and show them how the portal works, and then we go from there. But the company has to be willing to put some skin in the game. If you know an HR director or president or owner of a company, this is a fantastic opportunity. So see me once you have something kind of cooking. Now, one last idea here for business building, and this is the white hot end of the wedding and affinity opportunity. This is the child of the wedding and affinity opportunity. This is where they work together. And folks are actually going out there talking to wedding-related affinity partners because these people, like wedding photographers, wedding planners, bridal shop owners, wedding caterers and locations, they're all basically talking to future homeowners. So set them up with an affinity portal. Allow them to match into their wedding customers' down payment campaigns. So for instance, a wedding planner can say, hey, look, one of the services that I offer is this platform called HomeFundIt. And it allows you, instead of you doing a traditional registry and getting, appliances and things from your wedding guests, I can help you set up one of these portals so that your wedding guests can give you dollars for your down payment. And I'll match up to $500 towards that down payment if you use me as the wedding planner, because it's one of my services. And HomeFundIt's going to give $2,000, and Borrow Smart, we can get you even more dollars, and potentially even a real estate agent can join in on this and give additional dollars. All of that business comes to you. So you can have these folks out there who are effectively interfacing with future home buyers, working to drive leads for you. And it's a benefit for them because it gives them another tool in their toolbox to differentiate themselves from their wedding planner competitors or their wedding photographer competitors. So talk to these folks, particularly if you're doing a wedding expo. Instead of just talking only to the people getting married, go around, talk to the other vendors there, because a lot of those folks want to have a way to stand out as well, and they can offer a match just as easily. So this intersection of affinity and wedding is becoming very exciting. We've got a bunch of flyers on this coming out here in the next week or so. So the bottom line with HomeFundIt is, in the traditional sense, you're meeting a customer kind of down at the end of this long journey of getting ready to buy a house. And then they come and they say, I need a loan officer, I need a real estate agent. But with HomeFundIt, the idea is that you start that relationship, well, as soon as you find out that they're dreaming of buying a home. And that can be really early in a lot of cases, as soon as they're maybe even in college still, starting that first job. It doesn't matter that they're not ready, because they can set up a campaign page anyway. It never expires, right? You can use Upit for a while and just shop, and then kind of transition into regular contributions. And in all cases, they're going to be done sooner than they would have been done. Because why? Because they're getting help from outside, right? The family, friends, shopping, etc., right? And what have you done? You've started that person earlier. They're going to make less mistakes along the way. We know this because they're working with professionals from way earlier, right? Just that process alone speeds up the process. The help from the outside accelerates the process. You've locked that customer up earlier, and you've effectively taken a deal off the table that your competitors can no longer have. You're filling your pipeline with people who decide they want to buy a house but aren't ready, right? And you can hold that person in your pipeline as long as you need to, right, with HomeFundIt. And that's the power of the program, not to mention the network effect of lots of people helping with that down payment. Those people are out there talking to their family and friends and referring business into you. We see that all the time. We track that data on Domo. We know that the lift off of HomeFundIt is amazing. It's at least 100% on business. coming in from folks that pre and post starting to work with HomeFundIt. We see big increases from those folks on all the time, basically. It all boils down to getting folks on these campaign pages the minute you find out that they're dreaming of buying a home. Again, no expiration date, no cost, sets up really quickly, and it gives them more time to work that into conversations with their family and their friends. So very important to start as early as possible with folks. The minute you get a whiff that they're interested in buying a house is the best time to start a HomeFundIt campaign. So for you, it helps your client get ready sooner, can lock in these long-range buyers that, as I've been saying. For your clients, important for them to see that taking the friction out of down payment gifting really opens up all kinds of possibilities. They want to buy a house pretty bad, and they will think of things. If you give them time, they will think of lots of ways to make this work for them as they talk to their family and friends in all different types of circumstances. And there's two ways for family and friends to help: donations, shopping, or both. So for you, first things first, set up a realtor portal if you're a real estate agent. If you're a loan officer, make sure all your partners have these, realtor.homefundit.com. And then work it into every first-time buyer discussion. Every day I talk to loan officers who are saying, and realtors who are saying, I bring this up with every first-time buyer. And they all say yes. So it's amazing how people say, why wouldn't I do this? Right? I didn't know much about down payment gifting, and now I know a lot about it. I don't like the old way of doing it. This is way better. It gives me possibilities. Why wouldn't I do it? And we hear that conversation over and over on the HomeFundIt team. And pipeline, right? Think about ways to tap into your older clients and tap that next generation of home buyers and get them in your pipeline. Even if they're not ready to go, this is a fantastic conversation to have with an older client who would welcome that call, right? And do the basics, like posting testimonial videos, emailing links to your portal to folks, and the basics like your signature block. Those are important things to do. And that's HomeFundIt, the platform itself, the real estate agent portal, and the affinity opportunity that we talked about. In your chat, if you look in chat, I just put a link to the HomeFundIt starter kit. It's a zip file. You're going to want to click that link and download it, unpack it, and inside there's a whole bunch of goodies, notably the cheat sheet. Best place to start. It's got links to everything, good summary of the program that you can steal and copy into emails and things. There's a loan officer quick start guide. There's another link I just posted. That's good for loan officers. Be sure to grab that. And the realtor quick start guide. So if you're a real estate agent, grab that one. It's got some good tips on how to get things going. Again, all of these are downloads from our cloud drive. Sometimes the links that I put in this chat get broken for certain people. So if these don't work for you, shoot me an email and I'll send you the same links or the actual documents you need off my email. And if you've got questions, go ahead and type those into your Q&A panel or your chat panel. I'll take any questions that you guys might have, and we'll go from there. I'll pause a second here, and you can throw them in if you have questions. Okay, I'm not seeing a lot of questions coming in, so hopefully you're not all struggling with those links. And I know some people will tell me that the link breaks when I put it in there, but if there's any issues again with the links, I can help you on that. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in, so I must have done a good job today. Again, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. My contact information is at the bottom here, dnesbitt@cmgfi.com. Again, if you do have questions, please reach out at any point in time. I do these meetings custom also, so if you've got a real estate agent office or a branch you want to do a presentation for, get a hold of me and we'll get a time set up. I prioritize those and I do several a week usually. So if you've got a group of agents or loan officers you want to present to, we can do it. If you've got an affinity opportunity, let's talk about it. And if you've got just general questions about anything, getting going, how to talk to your buyers about this, please reach out. And we do stuff coast to coast. There was a question here about, is this available in Minnesota? Absolutely. It's available everywhere. Okay, guys, I don't see tons of questions rolling in, so thank you all for being on the call today. I hope you found it interesting. I challenge you to utilize this, because you'll find that when you do, it totally changes your business. And I can show you all kinds of folks who are huge believers. Just give it a go, and you'll see. It'll make a difference out there for you. It'll make a huge difference for your buyers. You'll feel good about that, and I'm glad to have you here on the HomeFundIt team. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you out there on the HomeFundIt trail in the days and weeks ahead. Take care, everybody. Bye.